Hey kids, I know the test was yesterday, but if I think I made the key yesterday night, probably wouldn't have understand me very well. So I'm hoping my voice lasts throughout this. We'll see. Been a little sick, under the weather lately, so maybe I won't be my animated self, but Dunkin' Donuts is going to help. Gotta love them K-Cups. All right, so let's do this. We're going to get through this. Since this is Algebra 2 Trig, I'm going to go quick. Hopefully it helps you out. My name is Mr. Krause. For the next little while, you'll call me Mr. Key. All right, we're going to blow through this. I hope you didn't find it too difficult. A lot of stuff you could have used the calculator for. All right, so number one, what is 510 expressed in radian measure? So you need to take 510 degrees, multiply it by pi over 180. So if you come over to your calculator, why do I not have? If you come over to your calculator and you take 180 and you divide it by, excuse me, you take 510 and you divide it by 180. Again, we don't really write the pi, we got 17 over 6. So remember, look, it's over 1. So this is really 510 degrees over 180. Oh, crap, forgot something. I got to multiply these two, 510 pi. So really what I want to do in my calculator is this. And if you did that, it's 17 pi over 6. By the way, I have not looked at all these questions yet. I do have the answer key, but I'm not, so hopefully I won't make any mistakes. And if I do, leave me alone. Some kid was yelling at, oh my God, he makes mistakes. Yeah, get over it, dude. I make mistakes. You don't like it? Go someplace else. Ooh, man, Mr. Krause a little saucy when he's not feeling good. Okay. And if I cough like I smoked a pack of cigarettes, I apologize. 4 surveys are described below. Which survey methodology would contain the least bias? Remember, when we're looking for bias, we're looking for a bad study. Did you ask all the Buffalo Bills fans what their favorite team is? That would be bias. So, 100 randomly selected heart surgeons were polled by a telephone how to get children to eat healthier food. Lots of bias. A country and western radio station, otherwise known as just kidding, you country folk. Anyway, asked 100 of its listeners to call a telephone company and answer a question about rap music. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Weird. From calls made to 100 randomly, there's the big word for least bias. Randomly generated telephone numbers. People reply to a question about that. It looks like that's, to me, gotta have no bias. The first 100 people left the World Baseball Bookstore replied to a question about the importance of baseball in society. Okay, this is clearly 3. I hope you didn't miss that one. Number 4, when factored completely. Now, I know you all freak out when you see a 4 there. Pretend that's a 2. Pretend that's a 1. I'll bet you can factor it now. Bam, bam, bam. X. What multiplies to 36 that adds up to 13? Well, that would be 4 times 9. Now, since this is negative, and this is positive. Since it's positive, the signs have to be the same. And since this is negative, they're both going to be negative. But since it wasn't a squared, it was actually to the 4th, we're going to get squared and squared here, right? Because this is now x to the 4th. This is positive 36. All right, but you'd be a fool to be finished there. See, a fool would circle this question. Answer, oh, I hope you weren't a fool. By the way, that's how you also get the answer. It's sitting right there. But you factor this. Difference of perfect squares. X plus 2, x minus 2. X plus 3, x minus 3. Apparently, the sickness has gone to my penmanship as well. The answer is choice 4. How am I doing? All right, I'm doing okay. All righty, children. Yeah, let's do this. If I plug in 0 here, if I plug in 0 here, I get negative 4. If I plug in 4 here, I get 0. If I plug in 6 here, I get 2. And if I plug in, wait for it. If you plug in 2 here, you get negative 2. So this equation, turns out, makes no difference whatsoever. Now, I'm going to do this algebraically just because I know someone's going, wow, I wonder if he'd do it algebraic for me. Excuse me. Try not to cough in the mic. Let me get right to the right answer. The answer is choice 2. If you plug in 4 for x, you get 4 squared minus 4 times 0 squared. Does that equal 16? Yes, it does. 16 equals 16. Now, that's a 16, by the way, not a 10. By the way, if you wanted to do it algebraically, which is sort of a pain in the neck, you could have done it this way. X squared minus 4 times, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and put it in for y. I don't know why anybody would do it this way, but if you did it this way, I'd like to help you. So you first got to double distribute this. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with that. Wow, this is really hard. 4 times, this would be x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 16. If I multiply through by 4, I get x squared minus 4x squared plus 32x minus 64 equals 16. Why anybody would do this, I have no idea why anybody would do this way. I mean, well, you can just use the answers. Let me move it over. So this is negative 3x squared plus 32x minus 64 equals 16. Everything's got to go to the right. 0 equals 3x squared minus 32x plus 80. 0 equals 3x x. I hope that this has to be factorable, right? Well, we said the answer is going to be 4, so we might as well put a 4 here. Put a minus 4 here. I know it's going to be minus 4. That means this has to be 20. And it also has to be negative. Let's see if that works. Negative 12 and negative 20 is negative 32. So yeah, that works. And I get 2 answers. I get x equals 20 over 3 and x equals 4. I'm not really sure why anybody would do it that way, but if you did it that way, there's the algebraic way. Sorry, kind of tough. I know I did it quick. All right, 3 freshmen, 5. So 3 freshmen, let me write this down. 3 freshmen, 5 sophomores, 4 juniors are on the school's chess team. A coach must select 3 students to attend the citywide tournament. Which expression could be used to determine how many different groups? So again, if I select Bob, Mary, and Joe, or Joe, Mary, and Bob, that's still the same group. It doesn't matter how I select them. If I select Mary, Maria, and Michael, or Michael, Maria, and Mary, it's still M&M's. Ooh, M&M's. I love M&M's. So it's clearly combinations. It didn't say I had to select 1 junior. So if you selected this one, that would be the one he said you select 1 freshman, 1 junior, 1 sophomore. No, that's not what they said. They just said 3 people on the team, and it doesn't matter where they come from. So you're just randomly selecting 3. Well, there's 12 people here, and I want to choose 3 of them. And if it doesn't make any difference how I choose them, then that would be the right answer. Ooh, got it right. Love getting things right. Anyway, a survey of high school girls found that the mean number of text messages sent per day by the girls was 62. So X bar equals 62. If it's normally distributed, what would be 68.2? Well, remember, normally distributed, if you look, I'm not going to go to that chart, would be 1 standard deviation out. That's where you get your 68.2%. So I need to go 1 standard deviation out. Well, if the standard deviation is 12 and this is 62 and I go 1 this way, that would be 74. And I go 1 this way, that would be 50. There would be your range of 68.2. So 50 to 74, choice 3. I need to apologize for the sound getting off. I'm not sure. I haven't used my computer in a while, so I'm not sure if I need to update some drivers or whatever, but deal with it. Anyway, this is one straight up I would have just put in my calculator, but if you didn't, well, that's all right. You don't need to. You could have just said, okay, 9 is really 3 squared times 3 halves, and 27 is really 3 cubed to the 1 half. And all right, so if you did these, you would get, this would be 3 to the, let's see, that would be 3 times 3 to the 3 halves, because you just multiply those, 3 over 2. And if I add 3 and 3 halves, well, maybe what I should have done is left this as 6 over 2. And maybe that would have made it easier, because it's really 6 over 2. So 3 to the 6 over 2 times 3 to the 3 over 2 is really 3 to the 9 over 2. Is that one of my answers? There it is right there. Now, quite honestly, I would have just done this one on my calculator. 9 raised to the control division, 3 over 2, times, make sure you get it right, times 27 to the 1/2, 27 raised to the 1/2. Could have just taken square root of 27, but that would have been crazy. And it's going to give you 81 square root of 3. Oh, crap. I'm using a different calculator. It would have given you some weird decimal. If you used your calculator, I'm using the upgraded version. If you would have used your calculator, it would have given you some odd decimal here. And then if you just go 3 to the 9/2, 3 raised to the control division. Oops. Why is it doing that, I wonder? 9 divided by 2. 9 over 2. Should get the same thing. And on your calculator, we're just giving you the same decimal, same decimal. Anyway, that's it. The ratio of arc cosine of 1/2 over arc tan of 1. When you say arc tan cosine, you're saying the angle whose cosine is 1/2. That would be 60. Otherwise, if you want to do it on your calculator, it's inverse. Excuse me, not this. Escape. Inverse cosine of 1/2. And it would tell you it's 60. Except I'm in radian mode. So I got to get out of radian mode. How do I get out of radian mode? Good. Document settings. Let's get out of radian mode. Let's get into degree mode. Make default. Okay. Let's do this again. Ding, ding. And it would tell you it's 60 degrees. So the numerator is 60. And again, the denominator says the angle whose tangent is 1. If I did inverse tan of 1, which I'm not going to do, tan negative 1, tan inverse of 1, I would get 45 degrees. Well, 60 over 45 reduces to 4/3. So that would be 4/3. All right, one more on this one. Which summation, this is a tricky one, will not produce this? So notice it's skipping 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we got to go through these. Let's see. Number 1 starts at 2. Then you plug in 3. And then you plug in 4. It looks like number 1's the right answer. This one, if you plug in 1, you get 2 times 1, which is 2. If you plug in 2, you get 2 times 2, which is 4. So, and then so on. When you plug in 6, you'll get 12. Over here, when you plug in 2, let's see, 2 times 2 is 4, minus 2 is 2. 2 times, then you plug in a 3, 2 times 3 is 6, minus 2 is 4, so that looks like that one's working. Let me plug in 7. 2 times 7 is 14, minus 2 is 12, so 12. And then, oh, this one's sort of a pain. So this is going to be, plug in 0, I get 1. Plug in 1, I get 2. Plug in 2, I get 3. Plug in 3, I get 4. Plug in 4, I get 5. And if I add these up, 9, 12, 14, 15. This adds up to 15, but it got multiplied by 2, so that's 30. What does this add up to? 22, 30, 42. Ooh, something's off. Oh, yeah, I screwed up. I didn't go. I have to go one more. There should be a 6, which would give me my extra 12, which would get to 42. So the answer is clearly, I mean, just based on right there, clearly choice 1. All right, this is another one that could have been done on your calculator. You could have made up a number for M, make up a number for K, and then plug in the original and plug in the 3 answers. But it's such an easy problem, I wouldn't do it that way. Let's just distribute. So 1/3 times 3 is 1. So it's 1M. And then the square root of 6 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 12. Minus 1/3 times, well, 1 is just 1/3. K. And then the square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 6. So how many of them have 1/3 K square root of 6? That's weird. None of them. All right, let's see what's going on here then. That's square root of 6. Excuse me. Excuse me. I knew I screwed something up. I apologize. I should have shown this. We're going to do the square root of 6 times the square root of 3, which is the square root of 18. And none of them have that. That's because 12 and 18 can be reduced. So what we're going to do is we're going to do m. 12 is 4 times 3. So that becomes 2. So that's 2m square roots of 3. Nope. And this one is minus 1/3 k square roots of 9 times 2. The square root of 9 is 3. So 1/3 times 3, again, is just 1. So this is minus k square roots of 2. Choice 1. Keep forgetting to look at my answers. Make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Good so far. All right. Log. Again, this is another one you could have just stowed the 4 answers and checked to see which one gives you 2. But let's do it the right way. You'll remember if we have subtraction, when you combine those, they combine using division. So this becomes log base 3 of x plus 1 over x equals 2. Now we'll go through that change of base. So we'll do 3 squared is equal to x plus 1 over x. Make this over 1. We'll cross multiply. This is 9. So 9 times x is 9x equals x plus 1. Subtract the x. I get 8x equals 1. Divide by 8, and I get 1/8. Again, if you wanted to, you could have just taken this thing, stowed it into x, typed this left side in, and see what's going to give you 2. I'm not going to go through it, but it sure would. Which one is not a function? So here's what I would have done on the calculator. I'm not going to kind of go through this with you. This is y equals 4 over x. If you graph that on a calculator, it would look like this. And that passes the vertical line test, so it's a function. Log base 4. Log function looks like this. Passes the vertical line test. Sine of x. Pass the vertical line test. This is the only one you really have a hard time graphing on your graphing calculator. Yeah, and that is the right answer. If you graph the other 3, but you couldn't graph this one, you'd see that these were all functions. All right, what is the area of the parallelogram? Parallelogram. So we have an area formula for a triangle. An area formula of a triangle is 1/2 a times b times the sine of c, where a and b are the 2 sides, and c is the angle in between. Let's see if that's what we have here. Oh, crap. We have a parallelogram. Let's call this A, and we'll make it 60. B, C, and D. And AB is 4, and AD is 5 square roots of 3. So that's exactly what we have here, except this would be the triangle that I would have. So this area formula would work for this triangle, but I have 2 of them, and you should have known this a long time ago. If it's a parallelogram, we just get rid of the half because there's 2 of them. Or take your final answer and multiply it by 2. I don't really care. So it's 4 times 5 square roots of 3 times the sine of 60, which is equal to 20. I'm not sure if my big head's in the way. 20 square roots of 3 times, now the sine of 60, kids. Gotta know it. Gotta know it. It is the square root of 3 over 2. All right. Now, if that's being the case, let's see here. 2, if I just put this in my calculator, give me the answer, by the way. 2 goes into 20 10 times. The square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is just 3, so the answer is 30. Bam. And the last one for this video, the maximum point on the graph of an equation of y equals f of x is 2, -3. So who cares what the graph looks like? Bam, ka-cha-bam. 2, -3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There's the maximum point. Maybe it's a parabola. Who knows? Now you have to remember, when we're inside the parentheses, that's a move right or it's a move left, backwards. Backwards. So since I put a -4 in here, which you'd normally think would go to the left 4, it does not. It goes to the right 4. So instead of being 1, 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 3. So the answer would be 6, negative 3, which is choice 4. Shabam! That's it, kids. That's it for that video. Part 2, or the rest of these multiple choice are coming. Hey, I didn't even cough that much.